Hi, I'm Gail Sokol, and welcome to my new video baking series. So today I thought it might be delicious to make some cinnamon pecan currant scones. And scones are a quick bread, so they're very easy to make, very quick to make and get into the oven. And they're a part of a category of quick breads that includes things like shortcakes, like strawberry shortcake, and biscuits. And they follow sort of like you would make a flaky pie crust, but this is known as the biscuit method of mixing, which is very hard to say very fast. And everything in baking, as I have told you before and shown you before, it has a way of mixing the ingredients together. There's an order to things. And once you have it down, you can bake anything. So right now, let's get started. We have 2 cups of all-purpose flour in a large bowl. And I'm going to be using what's known as a pastry blender. A pastry blender has these loops, these wire loops. They come in all different shapes now and different. Some of them are flat, like sort of square shaped instead of round. This is the one I happen to find and I love it. And it's known for cutting your fat into your dry ingredients to get the fat to decrease in size so that we can get the size of either peas or oats. In a flaky pie crust, you would actually be doing this until they are pea-sized pieces, like the little garden pea. Here, we're going to be doing it so they're almost oatmeal size. So the whole mixture looks like oats. So before we get started, we're going to add some other dry ingredients in with our flour. So we're going to be adding half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of table salt, not kosher salt, table salt, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1 1/4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. And if you want to go a little crazier with the cinnamon, you can, because it's a lot of fun. And it tastes absolutely delicious. It smells wonderful when they are hot from the oven. I have 6 tablespoons of granulated sugar. You're also going to add that right here. And then I'm going to take my pastry blender and I'm going to combine everything together. And you really want to mix those chemical leaveners in there. That's your baking powder and baking soda, or you're going to have maybe one scone that may not rise as well as another if they're not homogeneously blended. So just get it so that they're mixed together nicely. Now the next thing you want to add to your dry ingredients, and this is very typical for this type of quick bread, is fat. And I love the taste of butter better than something like shortening. But a lot of people vary on what they use. Butter, about 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter cubed, and I'm going to put that right in, and it is cold. It is ice cold butter. So I'm going to cut it in. Notice what I'm doing. I'm cutting in with this pastry blender. I am not mixing it so that it melts together or is completely blended. We're just going to cut. It's almost like sort of like a S shape. You're sort of, like making like a wave with your hand. And you're just trying to get these pieces of butter to be small. And you want to use them as spacers, if you will. So once you make this dough, there's going to be little tiny bits of butter that you're going to be able to see. And it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It means you did something right. So these little pieces of butter are actually going to melt in the oven and leave a space where they once were. It's going to fill with moisture and steam based on the ingredients that we also add. We have liquid ingredients that we're going to add that have water in them. And there's also the steam factor, the air that we also mix in, the invisible ingredient that we mix into everything that we bake. And this is going to be a powerful leavener. Steam, air, moisture, all powerful leavening agents. So you're going to see your scones really, really increase in size. So I'm just pushing the fat through so I can get these little tiny oaty type of a mixture that I want to see. And we're still not completely there yet. I can show you some of the pieces are still a little too big, and that's too big for oats. So you just do one more go around. Okay. And when you see that it looks like oats, or like oatmeal-ish, all right, and we're just about there. You take your pastry blender and you put it away. A lot of people like to keep using the pastry blender. They love the pastry blender. Don't use it anymore once you've cut your fat in. Put it down. Put it down. You saw me, I put it in the sink, I'm not using it anymore. And then now you're gonna use a spoon, all right? So I have 2/3 cup of coarsely chopped pecans. You don't like pecans? Choose another nut. You don't like nuts? Leave them out, all right, not a problem. 1/2 cup of, these are little tiny currants, sort of like baby raisins, but it's a different type of dried fruit. And it's delicious in here. If you don't want currants, you can use dried cherries, you can use dried cranberries, you could use raisins. Now I'm going to mix them in. So you have this beautiful mixture. All right, so I see my butter chunks, tiny butter chunks, and I see my pecans, and I see my currants, and they're getting all coated with the dry ingredients. Now, in order to make this super rich, we're going to take 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream plus a tablespoon. So it's 3/4 of a cup plus a tablespoon of heavy cream and 2 egg yolks. Remember, the yolks have the fat in the egg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very, very gently add my yolks into my cream and just mix them in together so that it's just a little bit easier to blend into my other ingredients. Okay, just give it a little stir. You don't have to go crazy, all right? And put the fork down, all right? And then you're going to put it into your dry mixture. And the heavy cream, guess what that's going to do? Because that's mostly fat. That's about 40%, 38 to 40% fat, butter fat. That's actually going to coat the gluten strands of your flour and prevent too much gluten from forming. So gluten forms the structure in a baked good. And because we don't have a really tight structure and a lot of gluten, we're going to have a very tender, crumbly, almost flaky scone. Absolutely delicious, all right? With a cup of tea for a brunch. Somebody says, you know, having a brunch, can you be here in a half hour? You can make scones in very, very short period of time. So if you notice, this is coming together in clumps, and I'm going to clean off my spoon. This is where it gets a little messy. You want to get your hands in there a little bit. You don't want to overmix. Overmixing causes gluten to develop. Again, we're trying to keep the gluten formation down. We're going to form a little bit because we do want to have a little bit of structure. Otherwise, our scones would fall apart. So it almost looks like a streusel mixture now, right? That loose structure that you put over pies and stuff when you have like a streusel or a crisp. But what we're going to do is we're just going to gather it together into a dough, and it can sometimes take a little while. But I don't want to knead it. I don't want to actually handle it too much. So I'm just going to push it against the sides of the bowl with my hand. If you feel that it's too crumbly still and you want to add a little more cream, just drizzle in maybe another teaspoon to a tablespoon. Don't add too much. There's a reason. If you add too much cream, you're going to actually have less structure and you're going to end up with a gooey scone, and you don't want that. It'll take longer to bake. It'll be very wet. So notice it's coming together, right? See, the bottom of my bowl has almost no dried crumbs. We're going to keep working it gently, and I'm just going to turn it over. I'm not really kneading it like I would a bread dough, like a yeasted bread dough, but I'm gathering it together, okay? Just until I see no dried particles, and you can see there's still a few, so I'm still going to go around. And I almost feel like this is sort of like a sponge, and I go around the bottom of the bowl and pick up all those dried crumbs. That's what I like to do. Once you feel that you have all your dry ingredients combined, you're going to take this mixture and put it onto a work surface. And I try not to add flour. Again, flour will actually cause dryness. Years ago, before I even went to culinary school, I actually used to overflour things, and now I don't. I make sure that I don't. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to gather this, not into a big bowl, because we're going to divide it. I'm going to take my next favorite tool next to the pastry blender, and that's my dough cutter. So I'm going to cut this in half. Just cut it straight down. You don't want to rip into it. You just want to cut it straight down. And put half aside. And then I'm just going to shape it into a round. So see what I'm doing? I'm sort of shaping it into a round like that. Don't use a rolling pin. Don't use a rolling pin. So flatten and round it. Flatten and round it. So you will end up with a round shape. All right, and if it sticks a little, guess what this is for? Just sort of shush it under there and just move it. All right, so we don't want it to be too thin. We want them to be about, probably about 3/4 of an inch thick, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. If they're too thick, they won't bake through thoroughly, and they'll have to take longer in the oven. But too thin, they'll be almost like a cracker, and that you don't want. So this is good. So now I'm going to cut them into wedges, 8 wedges. And you may say, well, that's a tiny little scone. They're going to double. Did you see the 1 tablespoon of baking powder that I had? These things are going to grow. Never fear. All right, so I'm cutting each quarter in half. Going to cut it again, each quarter in half. So we're going to end up with 8 pieces. All right, 8 pieces. These are super simple and easy to make. They don't take any time, right? And then we're going to put them on a parchment lined sheet pan. All right, I like to put them in opposite directions and leave a space between them. So I have 2 sheet pans. All right, 2 sheet pans. And don't push them down, just leave them the way they are. All right, if you have a little space on that sheet pan, that's fine. And then we're going to do the same thing with the next one. We're going to round it, push it, round it again, push down. Don't add flour. Don't be tempted. If it's too gooey, you can add more flour to your dough, but you don't want to add much at all because you will regret it after. It will not be a very tender, crumbly shortbread like it should. Not shortbread, because it really is a shortbread, but it's a scone. All right? So I'm going to push. Just use the palm of your hand to push and get like this roundish shape, and then have it. And then if it sticks, just shush it apart. All right. Half again. Half. Quarter. You want 8 pieces. You can even make them smaller if you want to. Okay. We're going to go over to a second sheet pan. Don't crowd them onto the same sheet pan because they will bake into each other, and you don't want to do that. All right. And these bake very, very quickly, but we're not done with them just yet. So what I want to do now is take a couple tablespoons of heavy cream and a pastry brush, and I just want to dip it in, and I just gently would like to coat each one with a little cream. Okay, gently. Remember, you're not painting a fence or anything. You're just going to lightly coat them. Okay, just do the tips of the pastry brush, each one. And then I'm going to sprinkle some granulated sugar over the top. And I have done it with turbinado sugar as well, which is more of a coarser sugar. It has a little brown sugar, a little molasses in it because it's a little less refined. You can do that if you want as well. If you don't want to put sugar on top, don't. If you want to put a cinnamon sugar mixture, you could do that as well. So we're just going to put a little bit on each one. Don't go crazy with the cream. You don't want too much. And if you've run out of heavy cream and you have a little whole milk, you can do that. That would work, or half and half would be great. Okay, now I'm going to take some sugar. I like the way it looks with the granulated sugar because I've done it with both turbinado, and it just has a nice little crusty caramelized top to it because of the sugar. I really like that. So you can be as generous or as non-generous as you want, but I'm never skimpy with it on the top. Everything's in moderation, but the sugar really makes it good. Makes it special. These are great at room temperature, but they're especially exceptional warm from the oven. All right, so we are ready for the oven. I'm going to go wash my hands very quickly. I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to bake our scones for 16 to 18 minutes, just until we see some golden brown on the top. They look like they're cooked through, and I rotate them midway through baking. So at about 8 minutes, rotate them. Ooh, so my cinnamon pecan currant scones have come out of the oven, and I have to tell you, I think they're phenomenal looking. They're gorgeous. You can see they're doubled in size. They're all sort of crackled on the top because of the sugar, and they look amazing. You know they're going to taste spectacular. So if you want to eat them warm, right out of the oven, let them cool down just a little bit so they are warm and not just piping hot. Once they have cooled down, they are fabulous warm with a little pat of butter, a little clotted cream if you're in England, with some tea or coffee or anything you want, milk, cocoa, anything. They're great for a brunch, and they take like 15 minutes to put together. That's why they're known as a quick bread. They're very, very easy. So I want to break one open for you because I have to show you what's inside. They're a little warm, but I'm going to see if I can break one open. And they're just so beautiful, and they smell, you smell the cinnamon and you smell the nuts, and they're so crumbly. Look at that. From just the tenderness of that heavy cream and that butter, they are wonderful. So if you want to see more videos, and I will be making more videos for you, visit my website, gailsokol.com. Until next time.